Welcome to episode 3 of That's What I'm Saying, the podcast about hip hop entertainment. We talk about social issues from a sometimes ratchet but mostly woke perspective. So I am Shaun.
I am Ny, and we're here bringing it
So
to you.
yes. So Nye, what are we gonna call this episode? This is our third episode. We are doing good, girl.
We're doing good, and we can name this thing so many titles because there's so much happened during this week. Fab went Ike Turner
Just call him
on
Fab
Emily B.
Turner.
Yes, he went Ike Turner on Emily B. You know, them two. Them two bitches drove their kids off the cliff. That is just insane to me. That's so disturbing.
We got
Um,
yep. We got a lot. We got a lot to talk about. We got a lot to
yeah.
talk about. So let's
Mhm.
let's start off. I know you mentioned Fab. I guess we might.
Let's start off with him because I don't know. This really hurts me to my heart because I like Fab. I don't want to say I love Fab, but I like Fab,
I
and
love Fab.
I
I
hadn't really
loved it him. I did love it
right.
him.
So I
Um,
hadn't really listened to Fab like seriously until about a couple years ago, and I saw him perform at Brooklyn Hip Hop Festival, the one where Nas was headlining, and I was like, I fucking like that. I love Fab. So he's been in my rotation for like a long time, and so him and Jada have that. I keep calling it Freddie versus Jason, but I think it's Nightmare on Elm Street or
y-
um.
yeah, I forgot what it's called, but it's hot. It's like mixtape status. It's hot.
Yeah, so I mean that is in my. I
Hmm.
listen to it at least probably once a day or every other day. Like it's in my phone. I work out to it. Like it's
Hmm.
heavy rotation. That is my shit. So I'm like, I gotta take this shit out because I cannot fucking condone
Do you
this.
know they said he lost like 500,000 followers over this whole thing going on? I mean, I believe it, but
Yeah.
this is why. And I am a Fab fan. Like I'm back. What was that? Like 2000, 2001. Like I won't deny it.
Mhm.
That I can't deny it. And holla back, youngin. Woo
Yeah.
woo. I'm that Fab. Like Fab is like, what do he call himself? A youngin OG or OG youngin or something? Because
Yeah.
he looks like he's 22 years old
He looks like
and
a baby. He if you catch the right angle, he looks like he's probably 18. Like I don't know how he's 40 years old. He has no hair on his face. Fab. What is
I don't know. I don't know whose blood he's drinking, but he looks
playing
great.
over
He looks great.
there?
But
Yeah.
this whole thing with Emily, I was so first of all, they were, the whole thing happened in Inglewood where they live. Shout out to Inglewood. That's my old stomping ground, Inglewood, New Jersey. One of them. But it was like I think what turned it for me, because you kind of hear first, oh, it's a domestic violence and the police were called, but then they were like, she lost some teeth, like he knocked out some of her teeth, like he called it, he said, this is what I'm gonna do, threatened her in front of her brother and her father, who she had called to the house to remove the guns that he was looking for him. So I'm I'm trying to figure out what Fab is this? Like, who is this? And you knocking teeth out. And I'm like,
Right.
Emily B, she's a big girl. Like she's bigger than him. So I'm looking like, what is
It
going
looks like she's bigger than him. I've always thought like she looks like she can like smother him.
that's
But this is just to kind of like rewind back real quick. So this is from what I read. It's all stemming from an incident that happened March 7th. They had an argument. So I follow
Mhm.
Fab on Instagram. I'm always all on his Instagram, all of his stories. So he was out um
LA.
in LA for
Hmm.
NBA All-Star weekend, flossing the entire fucking weekend. He was doing it. You know what I'm saying? He was everywhere. He had his kids. It was actually cute. He had his kids out there, his adorable kids. So I think from what I hear, um, she flew out there and he didn't like it for whatever
Right.
reason. I really think when I first heard the story, I was like, this has something to do with someone got caught doing something he shouldn't have been doing.
Hmm.
So either he was out there, intermingling with some ladies and shut that shit down, and he ain't like it, or he may find out that she was like stepping out. So I think it has something to do with that.
Yeah, it's
I
a
don't know.
jealousy thing.
Yeah,
Because
it sounds like it.
I don't believe that the whole thing, like she was out there in LA and he was out there at the same time. Like I think it is some more to it.
Yeah, there's definitely more to it. So I don't even want to say allegedly, so but I guess you have to say allegedly. He punched her seven
Mm.
times in the
Ooh,
face, knocking out her two front teeth
in your face.
in her
Ow.
face, and he threatened her father and her brother to kill them. So
Mm.
that's a terroristic threat. And there's a video out of him
I
being
heard. Did you see the
enraged.
video? Because I didn't see it.
I saw the video, and he's going. He looks like somebody that's in a rage. In a rage. You know what
On
I'm
her,
saying?
so
So
it's not body doubles. It's actually the two of them.
it's the two of them. So whoever was filming it was. It looks like they were like on like the second level of a house, second or third level of a house, and so she's like filming down, or he's filming down, and so Fab is outside, Emily B is outside, her father, and I think a couple other people, and there's someone in between Fab and Emily, and there's someone between the father and Fab, so he's like going back and forth, yelling at her, yelling at the father. Saying, why you bring him to my house? And she's like, this is my dad. How can he not come to my house?
Oh.
So apparently she called him and called her father to come and pick up some guns that were at the house. So I'm assuming that he was, she's scared he's going to use them on her. So,
Yeah.
she wanted them out the house. Um, so, it's a terrible situation. It makes me look at him totally different because a lot of
Mhm.
these men who beat up on women are fucking cowards and they're punks. And they would never
Yep.
do this to a man.
Yep.
Never, you
Yep.
know. And I've
Uh,
seen a lot of his interviews, and he comes off very charismatic, but very docile and kind of quiet and
yes, and
shy.
kind of
You know,
boring.
yeah,
He's kind of.
it's really hard. It's kind of really hard to watch his interviews because I'm like, are you gonna put some personality to this? You know what I'm saying? Because it's kind of dry. You know what I'm saying? So
Very
it's
much
hard
so.
watching.
I've seen several.
Yeah,
He's got he's got no peaks and valleys to it. And it's
yeah,
it's kind of like his rap style. His rap style is he's very consistent. He's like a Fat Joe,
yeah.
very consistent. Been around for more than what,
Hmm.
what almost 2 decades.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
that's why I appreciated his music because he's very consistent. He's a storyteller when he's rapping. I ultimately wanted to have I love this collab he has with Jada, but I really wanted to hear a collab album or mixtape or whatever with him and Ghostface. I like them rapping together.
ooh,
He had a track on. He was featured on one of Ghostface. I think it's was it Supreme Clientele or
Fabulous. Who was?
yeah, Fab
Who
was on one of his songs. Was Supreme Clientele or
was that? That was it,
it's
right?
old. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was old. But the song, like how the wordplay they have and like how they their energy bounces off each other is I loved it. So I'm like I really want to hear something with them together, like a full
Wow.
feature, with them. But
I don't know if I
I
can
don't
lend
know
my
Fab.
ears right now. I don't know. I don't know. And that
Mhm.
whole, I could speak a lot on that domestic violence issue because it's like dealing with a Dr. Jekyll and a Mr. Hyde. And they've been together for years. They have two children together, right? I mean, they've built
Mhm.
this whole family unit. So, it's not this new thing. I'm sure this is the part that we see.
Right.
This is the part that's been broadcast all over the world, but I'm
Mhm.
sure there's another side to this where there's
Yeah.
a side to him that we don't see. That I'm sure she knows full well about. So I'm
Mhm.
just I'm really like, man, he's R. Kelly in it for me. Like, as much as I love R. Kelly,
Yeah.
and we could go into that too, because that's a whole nother story with R. Kelly. But
Yeah.
as much as I appreciate the art form, I'm looking at the
Mhm.
man, with a crazy side eye, like, what the hell are you doing?
Mhm.
Up on women and like, I'm
Just
like,
a
what?
quick correction. Just a quick correction. He was featured on Ghostini, um, a song called
Oh,
Guest House. This song is so fucking dope. It's it's a dope song. I
that's
don't
the
know.
old one. How now? What? Okay, that was on what album was that?
Ghostini, Ghostini, Wizard of Poetry. This came out like the '90s.
Yeah,
This is old. This is like super old. But the way they bounced off of each other was just I liked it. I liked their chemistry, and so I always wanted him and Ghost to do like a little mixtape or
like a
EP
little.
or something together. But I don't know.
Not anymore. He knocking out
Girl,
teeth and
he's
hitting,
knocking out
punching chicks
teeth.
in the face 7 times. I
That's
can't.
crazy.
I
That's
can't. I
crazy.
can't relate, and I have no respect for a man who does that at
None.
all. I can't. I mean, like, what's your comeback to that? Like, there's no excuse. What can you say? How can
Yeah.
he his I think his reputation is so completely damaged. I don't think Emily B is the type to use this, for celebrity. I don't think she
Yeah.
got on the show loving, whatever it was loving hip hop. I don't think she did it for celebrity's sake. I think she did it more as, it's a check and I'm supporting my family. So she just doesn't strike me as the type of person that would kind of use this to her benefit. It's a private matter and it now everybody knows about it. And I think it's um I think she can use it as a platform also to speak out about domestic violence. And that's not for everybody to do, but I'm hoping that, maybe some good will come out of this. So that's my 2 cents, my 5 cents.
Yeah. She was clearly, if you once you watch the video, she was clearly, you can see she's clearly afraid. She was clearly
Oh
afraid of him.
man.
And and this, and you had mentioned that, about, he's real slim and she looks a little bit bigger.
Hmm.
But when you have a man's strength doesn't equal a woman's strength, even if you're bigger than a man. Like,
Exactly.
they have different strengths. And if that man is enraged, um,
That gives
you
him,
know,
it's cat times 10. It's like the Hulk, the Incredible
it's
Hulk.
times 10. And you know what really irritated me about this whole situation is that I was reading some of the comments that are on some of these blogs and Facebook, and a lot of them were like, "Well, I need more information. What did she do? Why was he so mad? What did she do?" And I'm like, "Why are we blaming the victim?
All the
Why are we
time.
blaming the victim? Like, anything short of her probably physically attacking him first, and even that doesn't justify him doing that to her. It does not justify it at all. But
Exactly.
I'm always a thing. Keep your hands to yourself, whether you're a woman or a man. But I don't know what she could have done to have warranted that. I don't care if he came in and saw her sucking some man's dick. It does not matter. You don't put
Right.
your you don't hit anybody seven
You don't
times.
hit
You don't
nobody
need to do
7 times. You don't hit him. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's no comeback to this. There's nothing that he can
yeah.
say. You know that. I
Mhm.
lost my temper. Blah blah blah. It's nothing you could say. Like, this is
Mhm.
deplorable. It's despicable. No matter how you cut it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Fab.
Yeah.
I think
So
you lost a fan. I was a diehard fan. I can't deny it. I'm a straight right. I was with him. So I can't.
yeah.
I can't
I mean, he
support
was he was he was a part of the '90s. Like,
he was right.
he
I
was
mean, he
a
was
strong
Brooklyn.
part of the
Like,
'90s.
okay, so yeah, like you think of Brooklyn, I'm like, it's you got Jay Z and you got Fab. Some
Yeah.
so yeah.
So anyway, Fab, I don't know what you can do. You got to do some heavy duty hood public relations to fix this shit. Because I just don't know what you can
Oh,
do. Because it's like, just like you said, it's like comparing. The difference. What I think the difference that he can make that R. Kelly hasn't done is actually take the steps
to
to heal
acknowledge.
yourself,
Yep.
to acknowledge it and heal yourself. R. Kelly is still out here, preying on
Lord of
14-year-olds and
mercy.
molding them to be sex slaves. He's still fucking doing this. And I still have friends that are like, well, I have one friend in particular. She's like, well, I didn't see the tape. Well, then I don't care. You personally have to see the tape for it to be real. You don't, because we've all seen it.
We've all
If
seen
you
the
read,
tape. But can
we've
I
seen
tell
it.
you, I'm
I haven't seen the
torn.
tape.
I'm
I haven't seen
sorry.
the tape. I haven't
You've
seen the
never
tape,
seen
but
it?
I don't even want to see it. But I did read the is it a docket, or what's that the transcript or
The case docket or the deposition?
the deposition? Yeah, I did
Hmm.
read that, and that shit is fucking disgusting. It's
Yeah.
disgusting. He peed in this girl's mouth.
Hmm.
Her
So
mouth,
you read it. I did see the video.
girl.
And I not that I'm laughing, but I am laughing because this Nico tried to say that it wasn't him, and it was
It
clearly.
was clear. I think I did see part of it. It was clearly him. It was clearly you, R. Kelly,
If you don't have a clone, damn it, that's you. It was,
girl.
but that was the funniest thing that he denied that was him. But I mean, let's be real. We have known he's had a problem since back in the day with Aaliyah when he
Right.
married Aaliyah when she was 15 years old. I mean, clearly, I think what is he 27 years old at the time? Clearly, he's had a problem with pedophilia. I mean, that's just
Yeah.
what it is. Now, I've had a hard time because I'm gonna say that I am an R. Kelly fan, the artist. I am a fan of the artist. And I've somewhat okay, I'm not even gonna look, I've tried to separate the artist from the act, from who he is
I
as a
can't.
person. I know, I know. Okay, I not struggle with it, but God damn it, he is. It's such a. I don't know. God has blessed him with such a great talent to know
He has
that,
he has a lot. He has a tremendous amount of
and
talent.
he can't even read. This Negro can't even read,
Hmm.
and puts together and arranges this music. So I'm just like I. But he's basically he's a pedophile.
Yeah.
And, now it's coming out. Did you hear that the Kitty, who was his girlfriend, she said, he kept the little girls as pets and trained them
Yeah.
as pets. That's
Hmm. Hmm.
craziness.
Yeah.
But money is an equalizer in a lot of things because could you imagine, we're talking about and whether they're runaways or they don't have parents, but somehow, somewhere, I just feel like money was a motive here. You know, like either they were paid off, somebody was paid off, people had to be paid
Yeah.
off for this to happen and
Yeah.
continue to happen all of these years. Some,
Hmm.
some money was exchanged hands because it's just no way that you got me. Your 14-year-old daughter is crawling around in this grown man's house in this grown man's mansion.
Right. And it's like you are okay with that. Right? Like I would be enraged. I would try to kill this motherfucker. I would try to literally kill him. Like
And then
I would make peace, but you know what? I'm probably gonna go to jail for a very long time, but that's okay
Mhm.
because this motherfucker's gonna be dead.
But you don't even hear that happen. And I agree with you. Like you don't hear those stories happening because
Mm-mm.
somebody
Mm-mm.
is somewhere they're being paid off. Nobody is saying
Yeah.
anything,
Yep.
other
Mm.
than to TMZ. But ain't nobody saying anything.
Nope. It
Oh,
wasn't that girl Sparkle, the when the single Sparkle, that was her niece that
yes,
was the one in the video.
that was her niece. And
Hmm.
she,
Crazy.
she was the one that's, was the catalyst for the whole thing coming out and actually being brought up when he was brought up on charges that first time. He tried to say that wasn't him.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
girl, you never know what people are into until you see the videotape.
Yeah. You never know. Yep, you never know. But his so he was married to this dancer, Drea
I
Kelly.
remember her. Didn't she
Yeah.
strike you as like a normal, everyday, like she seemed like a cool chick? Like, how did you get with him?
I don't know, but I follow her on Instagram, and
Hmm.
she's a dancer. Her body is amazing. Like her body is
She
amazing,
looks
and
great. She looks great.
she looks
And she's got like
great.
five, she's got 4 or 5 kids.
I don't know. I ain't got no kids, and I got postpartum belly. How does she do it? I don't know. How do you do it? Tell me. How does she do
Woo!
it?
She does look great. But yeah, and I think she's got like 4 kids. Maybe
Yeah, she looks
something
amazing.
like
She got
that.
the hell up out of Dodge with him. She
She
like,
sure did. And she, you know what? She's the one that should write a tell all. She ain't said shit.
because I know she didn't seen some shit. I know she's seen some shit. I know it. So I don't. Drea, what's your story? Let's bury this motherfucker. Let's
She ain't
let's
saying.
bury him.
She ain't saying. Look,
Yeah.
the media tried to bury him before, and that shit did not happen because he said that wasn't me.
Girl, it
I
wasn't
can't.
me.
It's like
It wasn't me. It was
he pulled
you.
the Shaggy.
It
It's like,
was
where's
you.
you? That was
It
you.
was you. Is it that easy to get out on shit, to get out of shit? It wasn't
I'm
me.
telling you,
I'm gonna start
money
doing
is the
that.
great equalizer. Like, there's no way in
I
hell
ain't
he
got.
walked out of there.
Yeah. Damn,
That
I
was
ain't got no
not me.
money.
That was.
Hmm. Man.
Oh, okay. All right. So moving on from R. Kelly,
Moving
um,
on.
we have to talk about. I'm telling you, my hashtag Tyrone Hankerson, that law student at Howard University that was stealing that money, was living his best life
So
off of
tell the
y'all.
story, because I don't know the details of this.
Okay, so Tyrone Hankerson was a law student and very at one time very successful fashion blogger who, along with,
Hmm.
it's about 5 or 6 other Howard University employees, over a period of 5 or 6 years, misappropriated over $1 million in financial aid.
Oh,
So basically,
Lord.
these employees were living their best life off of y'all students' refund checks. They were
Girl.
girl. So but the way that he is, so Tyrone is being dragged in the media. Like he had all his his Instagram, which has now been taken down, but not before people took all the screenshots in the world. Cause he
Mhm.
seriously, have you seen them? Was obviously, he was a little how you doing, obviously,
Mhm.
but was living his best life in his Gucci loafers and his mink coats and Wakanda vacations all over, basically being a student. So what he says, what they allege is that he is the one who received like the most amount of money. So basically he got almost $500,000 in grants and
Wow.
scholarships over the 4 years of his attendance at Howard University. He says that he didn't take any money that did not belong to him. That this was all grant money and scholarships. So just imagine you are a student at Howard University in Washington D.C. and you are basically living off a refund check. So what is that? That's like over $100,000 a year. So
Uh-huh.
homeboy was pulling up to the school in a Range Rover. Mink. He must have had a photographer on location. It was a quote. It was something I was looking at. He was like, "Girl, they had him on a side pose, and he was like, another semester down, another bag secured, with his Gucci sling around his shoulders, walking
Girl,
out."
there's this meme going around, and it has a picture of what's the dude's name from LA? Damn, the one who was with Death Row, who owned Death Row. What's his name? Um,
Which one?
the owner of Death Row.
Well, it was the white guy, but who are you talking about? Not,
No, no,
not.
the big
Oh,
dude.
oh. He's on trial for
What?
murder. God damn it! Why can't I think of his name? Suge Knight.
Suge Knight. So there's a meme going
Yeah.
around for Morgan State, and it says, "If you don't want, hold on, let me pull that real quick. If you don't want the hold on, give me a second. Let me pull up my Facebook so I can be accurate in this." She was hilarious.
To be accurate. I want to be accurate. Damn it.
Accurate. So it says,
Tyrone
if you
Hankerson
don't,
is my life though right now.
it says, if you don't want dudes in fedoras and brunch boots stealing your money, come to Morgan State. What the fuck are brunch boots, girl? I died.
Girl, you have to see it. I mean, they're all around the internet, but there are pictures of this dude who I'm telling you, if
Mm-hmm.
you want to live your best life off of financial aid, please check his pictures out,
I was like,
girl.
how did he do it?
So what they were doing is, I mean, basically they were embezzling money off of financial aid. So what, and they were saying it wasn't federal funding. It was, so I guess it was all grants and scholarships that were all in house. It was Howard University money. So you remember the financial
Oh.
aid office, and
Mm-hmm.
you got the financial aid advisor. So it was an inter office thing. They were taking money that was earmarked for students,
Mm-hmm.
and like I said, living their best life
Mm-hmm.
off of those refund checks.
Man. So I heard that I think was it Harvard got charged with the same thing?
I heard about Columbia University.
Col-
Yeah,
Columbia?
when
Okay.
I heard that. I mean, it's actually like it's rampant. From what I'm understanding, like this is not just an isolated incident. You got
Mm-hmm.
financial aid officers that are getting shook down by their employees. Because in Columbia University, they had a
Mm-hmm.
student over the course of like 4 years got like almost 700 grand.
What in the world? Yo, I was a millionaire. Are you kidding me? What? I was eating oodles and fucking noodles in
I'm
school. Are
like,
you
what kind of
kidding me?
books? What book
Right.
check is it? What kind of books are you buying? What is that? What is that?
Right.
What, where are you eating at? What cafeteria you eating
Right.
at? What meal plan is that?
Right. You're insane.
I mean, and I'm just, it's so funny because I'm like, I hope he lived, because I mean now they're talking about criminal charges. I mean this it's gonna get real for
Mm-hmm.
Tyrone in a minute. God damn it, that name Tyrone has been dragged through the mud. Like who don't if it, who's calling Tyrone? This is actually what our episode should be. Look, hashtag Tyrone Hankerson, live your best life. Right?
Right.
Live your life like it's golden. That's what I'm in the background. I'm taking my freedom.
Man, he. So how did he get caught? How did he get caught?
Girl, you know
Do we
it's
know?
what rhymes with bitch. It's a snitch. So obviously
A snitch.
somebody told
Okay.
right. Somebody told. So it was an internal investigation, and what they were saying is that the president actually knew that this was going on. There was an internal investigation, an audit that was done, and then it was discovered that there were about 6 employees who were still working in the financial aid office, and they had a little hustle going on. I was like, that's better than the numbers. That's better than
For real.
putting in for the lottery. Here is guaranteed money.
Yes,
Guaranteed. So they were
guaranteed.
making a killing. So Tyrone Hankerson,
Hmm.
when is where do you have an offer up page? When is your eBay sale?
Right. When you gonna liquidate all that shit you got?
Because that bag that you secured, I need to secure that. That Gucci bag, you don't need it no more. You don't need it.
Where you going? You not gonna be able to take it.
Living his best life. Can you imagine though? That's when you want to live your best life in college. Can you imagine?
Man.
I am
Hmm.
I'm making like 100. I mean, obviously he took like over $100,000 a year. What kind of
Man,
life can you live? And you're a student? I'm living my best life possible.
girl,
Ooh,
off
girl,
campus house.
he
He
got
got a
6
his
on
apartment is lit.
location. Right, he got the off-campus apartment popping. He got the
Mm,
Gucci
mm,
bags,
mm.
the Gucci loafers, the minks. I was Woo, it's just like a nigga. Woo,
Oh
woo.
Lord have mercy.
And he was
Lord
like, "How
have
you doing?"
mercy.
So, girl, the pictures was just fabulous, just
Hmm.
fab.
I got to look this dude up.
Woo, it was one he was flying. He was in the air flying with the Gucci loafers.
Everybody else at home studying for their calculus shit,
Oh
you
shit!
know.
Oh man, I mean that as bad as it is now for him, because shit is really about to hit the fan. They bring some charges. I mean, it's done for. But as bad as it was, I'm just like, you know what? I hope it was
Hmm.
fun. I hope you had a great time. I hope at
Hmm.
least you got that 7.0 range out. At least.
Oh boy.
Oh, oh, that was good.
All right,
That was a good one.
y'all.
So, okay. All right. Moving on. So, what else did you want to talk about?
So, couple of things. Real quick. So, I just read something about the Philly Housing Authority has banned smoking in public housing. So there's
Okay.
no smoking within a residential unit. There's no
Are
smoke.
we just talking cigarettes or what are we talking about?
It's smoking. They just said smoking. I'm assuming cigarettes because I don't think weed is legal in Philly.
I
I'm
I,
not I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Um, but I'm assuming that it's cigarettes. And so there's no smoking in residences. There's no smoking in indoor common areas, administration buildings, and outdoor areas up to 25 feet. Now, some of this I do. I'm not a smoker, and cigarette smoke triggers my allergies. It just ruins my whole day.
Yes.
So, like in the admin buildings and like the common areas, I can get with that because I don't like cigarette smoke. But to tell someone they can't smoke inside their house, that
So
is
that's what it. Okay. So that's what I'm trying to understand. So that is what this legislature is looking to do is ban smoking in your private
in
home.
your private public housing. So it ain't what's so private, but
I'm not. Wait, we're supposed to. This is a woke minute. We're not supposed to.
sorry, we woke. We hold on, we gotta wake up. Give us a minute. You
Okay.
woke? Are you? Did you wake up? I woke.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm
Hold
up.
on. I got woke. All right. Good.
You gotta wake up real quick.
It's the woke minutes. No laughing. Go ahead.
So yeah, so it's even though we're joking and making light of it, but it's really an infringement of your privacy, and I think it smells like systemic racism
I
because
agree.
why is this implemented? You know, I don't understand the reason behind this. So it's supposed to go into effect July 2018. So I guess it was put into play last year, but goes into effect in July of this year. So I don't know what to make of it. Part of it, I do agree with, but what you do inside your home is what you do inside your home. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly,
You know.
exactly. So I want to understand why they feel the need to like take these rights away from, pretty much every other citizen in the United States gets to enjoy. Why? Because you live on, like you said, public private housing in a
Mhm.
public, you have a private room in public housing that
Right.
you don't get to enjoy the same rights. I don't
Hmm.
understand what's the point of that.
Yeah, I don't understand it either. I don't think I'm going to ever understand it. Some of the policies that are implemented in these governments, even on the local and the state and federal level, it just doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense. I don't.
So is it I'm thinking like, okay, so what if you are caught smoking in your public private housing? What does that mean? Does that mean that you're banned off the property? Does that mean that you
Yeah,
have to
you get
move
kicked
out? I
out.
mean,
So if you get caught
yeah.
on your first time getting caught, on your fourth time, so you have one, two, three times to get caught. On that fourth time, you get kicked out. You get kicked
Wow.
out.
So
Yeah.
okay, so that's what it is.
Mhm.
That's what
Yeah.
it's about. Yeah, you're exactly right. So you say, but it hasn't passed yet.
Well, it goes into effect. From what I read, it goes into effect July 2018. So we'll see if it gets overturned before then, or if it gets changed. I don't know what's going to happen between now and then, but as of now, it goes into effect July 2018. So
Wow. Okay, so we're
that's
gonna have to really be, that's a developing story, and I'm curious to see what exactly is going to happen. I mean, this is the government overreaching. Um,
yeah, it's overreaching, and it's almost the same as this policy that Trump wanted to implement, where people who are receiving benefits, food benefits,
hmm
now you get a benefits card, but he wants to implement a program where your food gets it's already like prepackaged foods being mailed to you every month.
Really, I didn't hear about
Girl.
that.
Yeah, so this was a news story that happened a couple months ago, maybe 1 or 2 months ago. But a lot of his plans that he wants to implement policies, they never really come to fruition. But this one again, it's like
hmm
I wouldn't. First of all, I wouldn't trust that food, and second of all, what about your fresh foods? What about your
No,
dairy
listen.
products
Out.
and your milk? And what about that? You gonna mail
You
that to
better
me?
forget it. That's what it means. Like, what?
Are we going back to the
What?
days of
You
getting
want to be
powdered
healthy?
milk?
You want to be healthy? No, we going back to the days of the block
Right.
cheese, the
The
government
block cheese
cheese.
and the powdered milk. Yeah, and the powdered milk. That nasty mess. That shit was nasty.
Like, oh,
I
you want
had
to be
I grew
healthy
up
in
on
this
that. It was
place?
nasty. Right. You
Like,
want to live past
what?
40? Why?
You want to be healthy?
Right. You don't want
Wow.
your intestines blocked up. You know. You don't want to be constipated. Why?
Gosh.
It's
Wow. I
ridiculous.
didn't even hear that. Okay.
Yeah,
This is.
yeah. So it's the same thing. It's just because these people being criminalized and over policed for being poor. That's
hmm
essentially what it is. If we took more energy into helping people get out of these economic strongholds, then our country will be better instead of penalizing them and criminalizing them. But this has been
hmm
a policy. This has been a systematic thing
Yeah.
that's been happening for decades. For decades.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, this is a story that we definitely have to follow up. Definitely, I definitely want to be updated on this.
Yeah.
See how this one fares out. We'll see. So, okay, since we're still talking woke, so I'm gonna put on my serious face, and I want to touch on Stephon Clark. I believe it's Stephon Clark, the
Mm-hmm.
young man in Sacramento, California, who was shot. Now they're saying 8 times in the back
Mm-hmm.
by an unarmed black man who was shot again
Mm-hmm.
by the police. So I think the last I quoted said he was shot 3 times in his lower back, twice near his shoulder, once in the neck, once in his armpit. He was also shot in the leg. He had a neck wound coming from the side. This is from Dr. I think Omalu, the same doctor who did all the research on the CTS with the NFL players.
Okay.
So he
Mm-hmm.
was actually hired by the family to do a private autopsy that was conducted.
Mm-hmm.
And it really, the results of the autopsy pretty much fly in the face of whatever the police were saying, their official statement.
Always, always.
Always, right? I mean, that's just like I can. This is boilerplate. I'm basically saying what we already know. So, of course, the his family has accused the police department of trying to cover up their misconduct. Um,
Mhm.
which was the reason why they decided to do these separate autopsies. So you know, this is I have to breathe in with exasperation because here we go again. Now, the turning point is, what do we do about it? What are we going to do about it as a community, as a whole? We see this happen all the time. And it's such a sad story because he was, of course, a victim of mistaken identity, so they say. And
Mhm.
the report came out that they had somebody that was breaking into cars, and he was shot in his grandmother's backyard.
Mhm.
um I, I'm I'm
It's
really I mean, what can you say?
it's it's
Yeah.
like, I for a minute I was really into, and I still am, not saying that I'm not into it at all, because I still read up on the stuff and I still get infuriated with these stories. But what are we gonna do is the question. We can keep talking about this. We can do a protest. We can sign hashtags, think pieces. We can do all kinds. But what are we going to do
Fake
about this?
pieces. I'm sorry.
People write these whole long, think pieces on what happened, because
Mhm.
there's a story that came out that said, I guess somebody went back in his Twitter feed or Facebook or something, where he made these comments against black women. I think so. His kid's mother is,
Oh, I
I
did
don't
see
know
that.
what
He
she
was he
is.
was talk, I think she's Asian, so his child is
She's
half
Asian.
Asian.
Yeah, so they made some comments about not liking black women. So some people are like on the fence on whether to be in support of him. But
And
that's
isn't
the
that sad though? I think, I
it
don't know.
is.
Isn't that part sad? I mean, I heard about the tweets and I read a little bit, where he was, and rest in peace. But he was
Hmm.
talking real greasy about black women.
Yeah, yeah, and
I assuming that the tweets were authentic. Everybody's entitled to
hmm
their opinion. I'm sure,
hmm
22-year-old as a black man did not think that, he would lose his life at the hand of the police, but that's exactly what happened. So
yeah,
regardless, I think, of where he was with his love for black women or black people, and so on and so forth, it does not negate the fact that another life was
yeah,
lost at the hands of law enforcement. Another
right,
black life was
right.
lost.
And
So
I definitely agree. I definitely agree with that, because um, you know, I don't even know what to say about this anymore, because I feel like I keep reiterating and regurgitating the same talk that
yeah,
I've talked before. So it's like I don't even know what to say anymore about it, because
you know,
it's so blatant, and because this is also comes at the same time of that black cop who mistakenly killed that white woman, and he's being charged with murder. I can't think of his name. It's in the news now too.
oh,
So we have all these cases of all these white cops and non-white cops, or killing all these black people, and they're getting off. And then we have this black cop who mistakenly kills this white woman, and he's going on trial for murder. And he's going to go to jail
I
for a
didn't know
very
that.
long
I
time.
didn't, I didn't, and I was following that story up to the point, I didn't know it was a black police officer that shot her. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't know that he was being charged with murder. And it's kind of like, it's kind of quiet. It's kind of kept under wraps. I didn't even know
Yeah,
that.
it's very quiet. Yeah,
Wow, wow. But this,
they're saying that there's no way he could have felt like his life was in danger. Blah, blah, you know. I
and
don't.
I'm
It's
just like,
just.
it's sickening because this is a situation for me. Like, I'm not getting out there with the picket signs. I'm not doing the whole. I'm not doing that. But at the same time, I do believe that there needs to be some support of raising awareness.
Mm-hmm.
So at the same time, no, you're not gonna have me out here with a picket sign, and I'm not Black Lives Mattering it down. But
Mm-hmm.
like I said, at the same time, we do need awareness of police brutality, and trying to. I mean, we're talking about strongholds. We're talking about mentalities, and we're talking about mindsets. So what does it take to change a mindset? And really, most of the time, and I'm talking about police, and I'm talking about even the black community. a lot of these preconceived notions come out of fear. You know,
Mhm.
you think of these white police officers, it's, whatever act that it was, and I'm not taking up for them in any way because it was in cold blood,
Mhm.
but you're talking about a semi-automatic weapon, and it's firing. I mean, they're talking like rapid fire. They're talking about 8 shots. Like, what were you so afraid of? What were you so
Right.
scared of? Whether it was real or not, that
Mhm.
caused you to do that. Whether it was, I don't know about the community there, but you got white police officers, which to me is we need to look at that. I think, community people who live in a community need to police their own community.
I agree with
So,
that. I agree with
right.
that. Yep.
So if you're getting these white police officers who have to travel 20, 30 minutes or outside of the black community to come to work every day,
Mhm.
and every day he sees certain things that he can't relate to because that's not his
Right.
reality when he leaves here and goes back to his little white suburb or wherever he lives. So, it's
Mhm.
got that angst that happens. It's like it's another day on the job, and he's dealing with these people that he can't relate to, that are
Mhm.
over here in this
Mhm.
community. I mean, what does that breed? Whether that breeds a hatred, that breeds a fear, that breeds a disgust, it's something. It's different than,
Mhm.
look, Joe, the police officer, lives up the street here. This is your community.
Mhm.
So, you can't get away with certain things that you can get away with when I'm leaving at the end of my shift. I'm leaving out of here and I ain't got nothing to do with y'all
Mhm.
around here. It's
Yep.
totally different. So, I think that should be a big thing. They do it to teachers. A lot of times, a lot of these schools, it's the teachers. Teachers have to live in a community. Police should live in a community. I think it,
Yeah. Well,
some of
I
the, mhm.
well I don't know if that's well. I'm not familiar with that because I've been in the school system, and a lot of these teachers are white teachers who don't live in the community. I mean, there
Mhm.
a lot of them aren't, but it's and that's actually a whole other issue we can talk about on another
Mhm.
podcast about teacher recruitment, pay,
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
enticing minority teachers to teach in the community. But because there was actually, real side note, real quick, there was actually an article I read that said that most students prefer teachers of color over white teachers. Even white
Wow.
students, even white students prefer teachers of color over white teachers.
Wow.
But
What, I wonder why. What was it? Did you?
you know what? I don't know. But I think a lot of it has to do with it's a cultural thing. White teachers can't relate to black kids or Hispanic kids. They
Yeah.
can't relate to them on a certain level. Where I think a black teacher can, a Hispanic teacher can, and I think even an Asian teacher can because we're all minorities in this country. So on some level, you can relate better to these kids more than a privileged white woman could. You know.
Mhm. Okay. That you're definitely like let's footnote that because I think that's an excellent conversation for another podcast when we
I
decide
know.
to get woke. But but just to kind of wrap this up because I think this is going to be an ongoing topic conversation. I mean, there's no big. I don't think anything is happening anytime soon. Unfortunately, I think a lot more lives are going to be lost. A lot of black lives are going to be lost
Mhm.
before we get to a platform of change. So,
Yeah.
but I think we need to look at the who's policing the communities. Um, Fear is the killer of everything, and I just think a lot of this, the feelings spawn from fear. There's a,
Mhm.
there's a fear there that needs to be addressed, whatever that is, and like I said, whether it's real or imagined, that needs to be looked at because I mean that you hear this every
Mhm.
police officer, they fear for their lives, and it's like, yo, the dude was unarmed. I mean, I don't know what you saw, and I think you kind of made some stuff up to say, I saw something because it's an imagined fear that you had. Obviously,
It
the man's
is.
dead, um,
Mhm.
and couldn't. I think there was more police there than this one black man, so it doesn't add up at all, um, for
Mhm.
me.
It never adds up. It never adds up. So
But
yeah.
we got to look at the laws, the policies. We got everything needs to be looked at, and especially how we treat people of color. I just This really gets on my nerves, and I want to talk about it. I want to kind of delve in it, but I'm like, the more, I don't want to be a part of that. That the side where all we do is talk. you know.
Yeah, because essentially how what it is right now, and that's how I feel. At one point, I was like, I want to be a part of a organization or a movement or something that's actually doing something. But even some of these, and not to knock them at all. I think I really think that the what's the word I'm going for? Like the platform that they're on needs to be
Mhm.
it needs to be I don't know, it needs to be changed
It needs to
because
be revamped. No, revamped, because I feel like it harkens back to the civil rights
it
movement
does.
era. And
It does.
no disrespect to that, but that
Mhm.
does not, you can't use that for today. We're in 2018,
Mhm.
and and that's what, like, I don't think a Martin Luther King would have done very well today. That movement does not apply for today, for today, when
Mhm.
the first time we got wind of police brutality was, remember, the Rodney King beating. Like,
Mhm.
yo, that was on somebody's cell phone and it went around the world. Like, you're dealing with um you're dealing with a whole different platform, a whole different media perspective. So I
Mhm.
just feel like the movement and the message is outdated, and
Yeah.
it needs some upgrades in order for it
Yeah. It needs
to apply for today.
because really, I think this is like an economic issue. If we can create our own economic base, then all this shit will
Hmm.
be it will be like null and void.
How
But
so?
we don't
How
have
do you, what do you mean
because
about that? I agree, but tell me, what do you mean?
you think about all these other communities, like the Italian community, the Asian community, the Jewish community. They
Hmm.
all have a strong economic base. You don't hear about the cops running it. Maybe I don't know the Italians. They're something different, but but you don't hear about the cops running into and killing Jewish people. You don't hear about them
Hmm.
killing Asian people. You just don't hear about it because it doesn't happen because they have an
Hmm.
economic base. You know, and even we always talk about let's get out and vote, let's make a change. I do vote. I do vote, and I vote based. People died for us to do it, but I really don't see any change that comes out of our voting because I think
Absolutely. It's a
we give
sham,
our
but
votes away.
anyway.
Yeah, we give our votes to the Democratic Party based off of we think they're better than the Republicans. But what are you going to do for my vote? If I vote for you, if I
Right.
you know get this block of people to vote you into office, what are you going to do for our people? And that's what the Asians do. They don't really care.
They hold you to task. You're right.
They hold
Right.
you to task, and they have a very low voter turnout rate. Um, than anyone in the country because their economic base doesn't care, and plus they have a home country, so that's a whole other part
Yeah.
of it too. Um, that they can always run back to support because really we are almost like orphan kids in America. You
Don't you
know.
feel like that as you get older?
Yeah.
I'm just, that
Mhm.
is, I'm just, as a side note, but we're talking about it because I think that's, so, I'm here I live in Florida, and me being a northerner, coming from New York and New Jersey and coming here. So one of the questions that I never got asked, this question until I moved here, it is, what's your nationality? What's your background?
Mhm.
So, my younger self, I mean, oh, I'm from New York, I went to school in Jersey, like, that's the extent of my background. But what they really are asking is, what's your home country? Where are
Right.
your people from? And,
Mhm.
a lot of times I'm like, and which has caused me to delve more deeply into my background, because I'm like, how do you answer that question? Like, look, I'm black. What do you see? And then, and I used to get flip about it. I'm like, well, what do you see when you look at me? You see a black woman, like, I'm black. But
Mhm.
it's really like, man, I'm trying to figure out, I had to go through ancestry.com and do,
Mhm.
and my a whole genetic test to understand. Okay, what home country? Because I have no idea. So it's just interesting that you brought that up because I'm like, I never got asked that question until I moved to this place, which is basically, it's a homeland for immigrants. Nobody that lives here is from here. Everybody is from someplace. And you have
Mhm.
classes of black people and they
Mhm.
want to know, I was like, I never got asked that question. Because I remember even in New York, you had Haitians, you had Jamaicans, you had all these people, and they held on to their home, but at the same time they wanted to assimilate. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? So, as soon as they came fresh off the boat, I remember just being in school and it was a lot of Jamaicans that were to school. And, day one or day two, it's 40 degrees outside and they looking like you know what I'm saying? Like little shorts and some sandals, but they learn real quick. Like you
Mhm.
got to, when in Rome, you got to do as the Romans do. So I never had that, where it's like I need to identify with a home country. So you're so right when
Mhm.
you said it. Like, we're like orphans. We're like
Mhm.
orphan Annies. I'm over here like
Yeah.
it's a hard not life. Like I'm still learning, about myself and about where my family came from, and the many different countries and continents that they came from and came together. But
Mhm.
that's an interesting conversation. I think we could delve into that some more. One
Yeah.
day, one day.
One day.
Hmm.
Yeah. So, but I've always wondered. New York has a huge population of people who come from the Caribbean, whether it's the Spanish side or the West Indian side. I'm like, why did y'all come to New York? Because it's cold as shit here. I just never understood that. It is cold
But
here
New
during the
York
winter.
has such a reputation. I don't worldwide. It has such a reputation for just being the place to be. And it's funny, like I grew up in New York pre Rudy Giuliani. And as much as people talk about him and say all kind of things, like that man did clean up a lot of New York. So
Hmm.
I remember a dirtier New York than even what you know. It was
Hmm.
it as much as it was, whoo girl, and especially I remember being a young girl and um we would go. My mom she worked near the World Trade Center at the time, and we would have to drive uptown and come, past 42nd Street. And I just remember, we were told like close your eyes, cause girl, it was.
On
I
Times Square.
mean, ooh, Times Square was like. The 25-cent nudie movies, all kinds of, I mean, naked women. It, ooh, it was
Hmm.
trashy. So I had to close
Hmm.
my eyes, like, you don't have to, you don't close your eyes until we get on the West Side Highway. You're not gonna look at this. It was,
Uh-huh.
it was that. So he really did clean it up. So, but I think the reputation. I mean, you can go anywhere in the world, and people, the Big Apple, and they want to take a bite, and you hear about Broadway. I mean, it's all stories,
Hmm.
but it kind of makes sense. Like, when they come, where they want to go. I mean, you look at the black population that's in New York. Um, you look at the lifestyle. I mean, I get what you're saying. Like,
Yeah.
man,
Yeah.
there's
I
plenty of
on
places you can go.
Yeah, that's what I'm like. You could have Florida. It's like it's close to where you just came from, and the weather is comparable. Like I just can't get with these New York winters. I just cannot. They just I'm not a winter person, so I'm
Well, I
just.
told you, girl, you can always come down. Come down here. I'm living my best life. I've given that up. If I don't see snow
Mhm.
anymore for the rest of my life, I am good. I've been blessed.
Girl, I get it. I
I've
live
done
in Florida
enough
too, so
nor'easters
and
to fill a lifetime.
when so I lived in Florida too years ago for
I
3 years, and
remember.
yeah, so around December, New Year's, it felt so weird to have on shorts. I felt like I was like doing something wrong. It
Didn't
just
you?
felt.
I love it.
I loved it too.
Girl.
I got used to it, but it just felt so awkward because you used to be a bundled up and it being cold and being miserable and complaining. But no, I had on shorts and I
Girl,
had
we
on.
spent we spent
Yeah,
Christmas Eve on the beach. I've never done
that's
that in my life up until last year.
that's beautiful.
It was
That is
absolutely
absolutely
beautiful.
beautiful.
And I felt like I was doing something wrong too. Like somebody gonna turn on the snow machine any
Right.
minute now. It's gonna be
Any
over.
minute.
Done.
Any minute. This is all gonna be over.
I gave away all my coats. What am I supposed
Right. Gotcha, bitch.
to do? Oh man, it really is beautiful though. I absolutely love the weather. Oh my goodness. What were we talking about? We start talking about that, but all right.
Yeah, we all off. I'm sorry. I'm very good
No,
for
it's so
going off on
good.
a tangent. But
I love it though. And you know I love you for that cuz girl.
girl, I can go down a rabbit hole and be like, how did we end up talking about
And
this,
I go
girl?
right down with you like,
So, just to kind of bring it back real quick on to a serious note. So,
mm-hmm.
back there was this viral picture that went around. This little boy in his little fedora that had a
Yes.
sign that said, I'm giving away free hugs, and it was you know, there was a picture of him hugging this police officer, and this was during the time of the Ferguson riots when I'm so terrible with names, but when the young kid got shot, the one who was they said he had stole something from the like the corner store, some cigarillos, and so the police
Mm-hmm.
shot him. His body was laid out on the ground for 4 hours. It was just horrible.
Yes, I
So
feel like we've got to find his name, but go ahead.
yeah, um so there was this viral picture of this little boy who was there. And when I saw this picture, and immediately I just got so annoyed because I'm like, this is like Uncle Tom at its finest right now. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's how I initially felt. But and they got the little boy.
Really?
I I did feel that way because I'm like, we're right now we have such a tense relation with the police officers, and also all the time there's like an issue with police, with the police officer killing a black person, like clockwork, there'll be another video of a police officer doing a cha-cha slide at a picnic.
No, girl,
You know
that's
what I'm
the
saying?
PR.
So
That's
it's
the
like
PR machine at its finest.
that's and so when I see this picture, I'm like, this is that it brings me back to that moment when I'm watching these. I don't even watch these videos any. I don't even watch these because I'm like, where are you when your comrades are abusing us?
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Where are you when this is all going down and happening? And why won't you? And when it does happen, why don't you speak up for us? I don't need you to be invited to our fucking cookout. I don't. You don't have to come. I don't want you at our cookout. I want you to fucking stand up for us because you have
Right.
the platform to do it. So I got initially annoyed with this,
You
but
said the cha-cha slide. I remember that.
so fast forward to now. So apparently, he's an adopted kid along with five other kids. I think five of them are
I
black,
think it
and
was
one
more than
looks
that.
like some.
Oh,
I don't. I've read reports it was six. It was five black kids, and one kid is like a kid of color. I don't know if he's Hispanic or age. I don't know what he is, but he's
mm-hmm.
he's not black, but he looks like he's like whatever. So they're adopted by two lesbian women who've
Mm-hmm.
been married for 20 years, and apparently these women drove their SUV off of a cliff, killing themselves and three of their kids.
Yep.
The other three kids can't be located, including the little boy who was in the picture. His name is Devontae. So the parents' names are Jennifer and Sarah Hart. So apparently they have been investigated for child abuse and neglect.
Right.
Um, they weren't feeding the kids. They were using food as a punishment to them. So and Devontae, according to their neighbors, he would go and ask for food and say, their parents aren't feeding them, and if they could leave food by the fence for him and for his brothers and sisters. So amidst in these charges, these women drove their car off a cliff and killed these kids.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm reading these articles, and the New York Post or the New York Times, they have a great article on it. They're sticking to the facts, whatever. But I read this another article on a smaller newspaper, and they really made these women into angels. Like I'm reading this, I'm like, these bitches just killed these kids.
LGBT angels.
Yes, that's what they are. And
Mm-hmm.
they just talked about them like they were just these angelic people who
I
made a
have,
mistake.
yes, I have seen quite a few articles that paint them that way.
It's
As well as
disgusting.
when it's just the facts. Because I mean, the reality is they were under investigation. They said that CPS, Child Protective Services, had come out because of the reports that the kid Devontae was going to neighbors asking for food as well as for his whole family. So when the CPS workers came to the door, the woman didn't. They didn't answer the. They did not answer the door. Instead, they got in their SUV. And took a scenic route right off the cliff with the kids in tow.
With the kids,
Yep.
killed these innocent kids.
Yep.
So they will never get their retribution. They will never be tried. This is a
Mm-hmm.
cowardly way out.
Yeah.
And hopefully, I don't know if I believe in hell, but I really hope there is a hell for them. I hope they're fucking burning right now. I hope
Mm-hmm.
they're burning.
Yep. Because and it's right. They had the three that were in the car, and then the three that are missing, and presumed dead. I'm sure at this point.
Hmm.
Um, that was a really sad. And I mean, I don't know what because I think I've read articles where they were like the Crusaders for, they were such a lovely family, and for them to take these rainbow children in or children of color, and
Hmm.
in a lesbian household, and it was just all these niceties, and I'm like, but wait a minute, these crazy bitches put their
Right.
kids in a car and drove
Hmm.
off a cliff,
And they weren't
and
feeding them. You
and
know.
weren't feeding them, and neighbors clearly have said that. So I don't know how you juxtapose or how you make sense of, you got starving kids, you got child protective service, you got investigation going on, and then they were like, yeah, there were no skid marks on the road. So clearly
Hmm.
it was a thought out planned action. Whether the
Hmm.
two women in the car did it or not, but somebody was intent on not returning home. And they said, they left the dog, the cat, whatever, everything in the house. So clearly it seemed like it was something that was planned. Very, very
Yeah.
cowardly
Yep.
of them.
Very cowardly.
And unfortunately all those lives were lost.
Yeah. So that just really hurts my heart, and it makes me really think back to that picture when the kid was hugging that police officer. So I'm thinking
Hmm.
maybe he was
It was a
really
cry for
like,
help.
right, exactly. He was maybe trying to get some help. Like,
Isn't it
can you
something? I
can you
didn't
read
even think of
my mind?
that.
You know, you
Yep.
know. But
Wow. Very, very
so may these
sad.
kids rest in peace, and hopefully they're in a better place. And those women are crispy right now.
Burning in
So
hell for doing all
yeah.
that. Should have left them where they was.
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
on another note,
Mhm.
what you got?
I was looking at you. I mean, we done been woke for so
Oh
long. I was ready to go ratchet, but I
no, I need to bring my spirits up. Like this is heavy. So I really want to talk about so really Netflix is really stepping up their game. They come out with some good programming. Like
what are
they
you
have good
thinking?
TV series, movies. The original content is just amazing. So I think like a week ago there was a movie about Roxanne Shante. It's called Roxanne. And
Yes, I told
yeah,
you, and I did see it. I did watch it.
yes,
So I have
yes,
my 2 cents that I'm
yes.
making a
So
five.
Roxanne Shante was female hip hop artist, and she was like a freestyle, battler back in the day. Um, and she had a couple of songs out. She got signed to, was it Cold Chillin' Records? She got signed to, I think.
I
Um,
can't remember that.
maybe I may have made that up. I may have made that up, but she was under Marley Marl, DJ Marley Marl. But
Who robbed her? Did you see that? I don't know.
girl,
I don't want
the,
to. I don't want to spoil it, but we're gonna have to. So that's what. Did you? Was that your takeaway? Because I talked to somebody else, and they were like, no, that was how that was the times. Like I was like, no, he robbed her
he
along
robbed
with the
her.
other dude. They
Yeah, he
robbed
gave
her
her
of her
some
money.
flim flam story about his bag. Everybody else got paid except for me. I ain't buying that.
Wow.
I ain't buying that. But it was. I love, like I'm just such like a sponge for hip hop. I love watching all these documentaries that come on Netflix, and I'm always online trying to find all these old documentaries about hip hop, how it started, and I just love it, and it just takes me back to that time. You know what I mean? I remember this
Hmm.
song being out, and I remember being a kid, and I remember wanting my name to be Shantae, and I just love it. I just love this era, and it just brought back so many memories. I grew up in Virginia, which is totally different from New York, but it's it's in some areas it's parallel because I lived in a neighborhood where that was had some troubles, but so I could relate to
That
some
was
of
so
the stuff.
nice. You like had some troubles.
I didn't know how else to say it. you know but even though it had a lot of troubles, it was a neighborhood I loved. I
Hmm.
loved it because all of my favorite childhood memories are when I lived in this neighborhood. I had a bunch of friends, and even though these neighborhoods, we're kind of like living on top of each other, in these apartment buildings or public housing
Hmm.
or wherever you live. You may not have lived that way, but how I lived, But you think back, you always have people to play with. You always have friends. Now people live in these communities, they live in these houses.
They don't
Your
know each
friend lives
other.
over here. They don't know each other. So to me, it was like a sense of community back then. But that's another side note. But I love this movie. It was great. The door knocker, she was rapping, and
Now I
I
have a
loved it.
question for you though, because your boo, what's his name? Um,
Mahershala Ali, which I love, I
did
love
you
him.
love him in this movie?
I fucking hated him in this movie.
Thank you.
I
Okay.
hated him in this
He
movie.
was
I hated it.
greasy. He was
Right.
great. And okay, so here's my take on it, which was I did love it. I felt like it was short. Like it
Yeah.
didn't um and it was an hour and a half.
I think it could
Um
have been like a 3 or 4 part series.
I agree
Not a
with you. I think
yeah.
it could have did the new edition thing, and it could
Yeah.
have really been fleshed out. I heard some talk about Nia Long, who played her mother, kind of was a scene stealer, and I was like, no, she did. I think she did an excellent job. She was
Mhm.
believable. I loved her. There was a part that she said, and girl, I was dying for like 10 minutes. She was like, "You got my house in here smelling like dirty jeans. What? Like you ironing dirty jeans?" I was dying. You know what that smells like.
You know how that smelled.
Got my house smell
Like
like you
you.
ironing dirty jeans up here. So I mean I love that. Your boo though, I did not like his role, but you
Yeah.
know what it made me think? Like seriously, it was a reminisce movie for me as well because I didn't grow up in the projects per se, but I was project affiliated. Let's just say that. So
Project adjacent.
I was a project adjacent. So but I remember there was that sense of community that you don't even see anymore. Like, remember when the kids were waiting outside for the father that didn't come,
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
neighbor was, looking out the window. She said, I'll watch the kids for you. Like that is what, the older women,
Mhm.
the elders, you had a respect for the elders.
Yep.
There was that sense of community, and even even though all the guys in her life seemed to take care of her, even the hustlers, the drug dealers, they looked out for her in one way or another. So you
Mhm.
did see that. I love the. I love the door knockers. She had a nameplate with her name on it. I remember, go boy, I
Girl.
begged for that. I got one for Christmas. I begged for it with my name on a gold. It was 10 karat gold. Yes, it was. And I got a rope chain. That was the big thing. I was like, I want a rope chain with my
Uh-huh.
name on it. So that was a big thing. The Kangos and um
Mhm.
I love the family bond, that, even though it could have been a sad story, that whole thing with her mother, and the dude running off with the
Yeah.
down payment. Like I was like, God damn it, we gotta have a damn, or don't we always have to have one of those? Like that's a what's the Florida Evans and James moment? Like we gonna get up,
Damn.
damn,
Right.
like damn.
Yeah, did that like the day they were supposed to move, they couldn't move. I'm like, God
They was all packed with the boxes in the living
damn.
room. Like this nigga done ran off
Yeah.
with the money. Girl, don't you
Ran
know
off with the bag.
the whole bag? That was crazy. You never seen them anymore. But that was good. But I was just like, God damn it, we gotta have a
Mhm.
good times moment right now. Um, but I love it. But I was talking about your boo, and I was thinking, I mean, she was like 14, 15 years old.
And he was
And
probably close to 40, 35, 40 years old.
right. But
Mhm.
here's where I'm like, I remember. I don't know if it's prevalent as much today. I don't know because I'm not that age, but I just remember being 14, 15 years old, and it was old dudes trying to holler like,
Mhm.
30 and up.
Yeah.
And it was nothing to talk to an older dude. Like they don't want to talk. They want to talk to you.
Yeah, I remember back in high school, it was me and like some of my friends, and we had met these guys. I don't know who actually met them first, but met these guys, and we used to hang out with them. We used to have hotel parties. And now I think about it, I'm like, we were like 16, 15, 17 years old. You know, they had to been like close to 30 years old. What do you want with us? What do you want with us? It was so, now that I think about it, it was so weird. Like, and I think back, like, on these parties, I don't remember anybody. I wasn't having sex, but I don't remember anyone like having sex with them. So I'm like, why are we even here? Now that I think about, but
And but you're young, because I was like there. I mean, I've had quite a few of those experiences. Just young girls. We weren't even doing anything, but I'm like, what the hell would? Now I'm looking hindsight. It's like, what the hell did he want with me? I was 15 years
right.
old.
What do we talk? What is
What
our
did I do
conversation about? You know what I'm saying? What is our conversation about? Because I
Ooh,
talk to high school students now, and I'm like, I mean, you got some intelligent ones, but it's never like, oh, let's go hang out, kind of. You know what I mean? It's like
right.
we
I
it's not.
remember uh Chris Lighty, which at the time, rest in peace, his name was Daryl, but we used to hang out with him back in the day. And when I think about it, I'm like, yo, dude was like 10, 12 years older, something like that. Like, and at the time he was like just getting into the music business, like just, doing his, I think it was like Violator Entertainment or something.
Mm-hmm.
I was like 15 years old. I might have been 14. And my
Mm-hmm.
homegirls, and we hanging out at his house. like,
Right? Like why?
like why? Like my conversation was not that tight. I was smart, but I was like, I
Hmm.
really didn't have like conversation like that. I don't know
Right.
where. So
Yeah.
that just, but seeing it in the movie, I'm like, wow, I remember that. Them old dudes
Mhm.
coming sniffing around
Mhm.
young girls. Everybody was R. Kelly. So R. Kelly is not an anomaly.
Nope, he's not. R. Kelly is not an anomaly. There's still R. Kellys out there lurking around. Even these guys who are 21 years old dating these 15-year-olds. What do you have in common with a 15-year-old? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
What do you have in common with a 15-year-old?
I don't know, but that irked me. That was the ill point of the movie. How did you
Yeah.
like seeing Nas, young Nas,
You
with
know, you know
Choke?
I'm
The
a
first
Nas
time I
fan.
I know,
I
I
love
know.
Nas. I just was like, oh, look at my baby. Look at my baby
Are you
as a
smiling right
baby.
now?
I am. I am. Look at my baby as a baby. So Nas has he has a documentary on Netflix too that came out on Saturday.
What? Oh,
So
so
I've
wait,
been
I don't mean
watching
to
it.
cut you off, but let me just say this because Netflix. So here's I gotta say this because it's been a slow burn for me too because I got hooked on Netflix because I thought it was like the movie cornucopia, and I was getting mad when you couldn't find movies on there. But now I understand that they're doing original content. I actually watched the show that I'm getting into called Altered Carbon that I'm
Okay.
watching.
Mhm.
So it's worth a look. See, so now that I understand the platform that they are trying to take over the original content and be like
Yeah.
its own channel, I
Mhm.
get it now. So I'm
Yeah.
I'm I'm all in. I'm all in.
Yeah. Yeah. I love Netflix. I don't I don't have cable, so I watch Netflix. I have Amazon Prime. I There's a lot of content on YouTube that's amazing. So I have like alternative stuff that I watch. And not having cable makes me more it
Selective.
streamlines what I'm watching. It makes me more conscious of what I'm watching. So I'm very so everything I'm watching because I want to watch it. It's not like background noise. I just don't flip on a channel.
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, so this documentary with Nas, it's called Rapture, and I'm getting into
Ooh.
it. It's about how many episodes? Let's see. I think it's 8 episodes, and each episode focuses on a different rapper. So
Ooh.
Logic has an episode, which I'm really not a fan of Logic, but Nas and Dave East. Dave East is a new hip hop guy that came out of Harlem.
From
Um,
Harlem.
yeah, from Harlem. He lived East Harlem. He's from. Ti has an episode. G-Eazy, 2 Chainz. I love 2 Chainz. Two
Mm-hmm.
Chainz.
Titty boy.
Yeah, Titty Boy.
You liked it
Uh,
when he was titty boy.
Titty Boy. So he actually has this cute video called "Make My Mama Proud." You have to watch it. It is
I heard the
adorable.
song. I did hear. I heard
Yeah,
the song. I haven't seen the video. I'm not a video
it's
watcher,
so
but I'll watch it because you said so.
yeah, it's so cute. It's like dedicated. It's him and YG, and they dedicating the song to their mamas. So and their mothers are in it rapping. It's so cute.
Oh, I
Um,
gotta watch that.
yeah, yeah. So Netflix has like a lot of good content. I was pleased with this Roxanne. Like you said, I wish it could have been longer, so they could really like get into like the meat of it. But I think it,
Hmm.
it did her justice. It was well produced. It was well acted. Nia Long, she did a good job. This character, I've never seen her play a hood character like this.
Who is
Never.
she?
She's her mother.
Oh, you're talking about Nia Long. I thought you were talking
Yeah.
about the actress who played Roxanne Shante. Which I didn't even know that Roxanne Shante was not her name. I thought her name was Roxanne. Well,
Uh-uh.
until her mother broke it down, was like, "Who the fuck is Roxanne?"
Right. Who is Roxanne?
I was like, "Oh, I thought that was
I
her
didn't
name."
name you Roxanne.
Oh, but I did. Oh man, I loved it.
It was cute.
I loved it. It was cute. Um, and it showed a side to her that obviously look how long it took to see that. You know?
Mhm. And she was never really a kid. She took on a responsibility of like helping her mom raise her raise her sisters.
Yeah.
So she's never been a kid. And even when she retired early from hip hop, but she'd done other things. Like she had an ice cream store in Queens. She was doing a whole bunch of other stuff. Because she said, when she made more money as a battle rapper on the streets than she did on a label. They didn't get
Wow.
paid. They didn't get paid at all. And back in the day, I think a few years ago, there was a story that was circulating. I don't know how it originated, but it said that there was a clause in her record deal that says that they would pay for her to go to college, and that's how she got her PhD in psychology.
Go ahead, girl.
But that turned out to be
Okay.
false. So I don't know who
Oh.
started
Oh.
who started that.
God damn it.
Yeah, damn it, damn
Woo!
it.
You know, each one teach one. Nope.
Right. Yeah, no. But she's doing her thing, and she's still, just I've seen a couple of interviews with her, and she's a very powerful speaker, and she has that personality that kind of like draws you in. She has
Yeah. She
that
reminds me of Sister Soldier a little bit.
yeah, she kind of has that kind of persona. She definitely does. She has that kind of feel to her. And she's very motherly. She seems very motherly.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, it's a good watch. Definitely go out and check it out. Check out that Nas documentary.
I'm gonna watch that because you said, and I know that I mean he doesn't know it, but I know that's your husband, so I
Yeah,
have
that
to
is
see
my
the
boo.
family.
That's
Oh.
my boo. I had to very funny story. So I wanted to watch it. I was rendezvousing this weekend. I wanted to
Mm,
watch it at my
oh,
rendezvous.
you get
My
so upset.
rendezvous partner hates Nas.
What?
Would not let me watch it.
Blasphemy. What?
That's what I'm saying. I'm
Get off
like,
the
why
phone. Who are we talking? What?
I was like, why don't you like Nas? I don't understand. And he was like, I just don't. But why? Tell me
But
why.
why?
I just don't. I'm
Is it a
like,
rap that he said? Like, what is it?
this sounds personal. Did he steal your girlfriend? Like, what did he fuck the girl you like? Like, I don't get it because it sounds so personal that he doesn't like him. So I'm gonna get to the bottom of this. So I started watching it after he went to sleep, and I snuck and started watching it. The documentary on the contraband documentary.
How
Anyway,
did you not like Nas? Okay, wow. I don't understand that. I don't
I
get
don't
it.
get it either.
What? I don't know. Oh. I told you
He,
I went to a concert. I don't. Were you there? That I went. Because I am a Nas fan. Like you already know. So
mhm.
I went to I think I went to Essence Fest. It was a year that I don't think you weren't. Where did you go?
No, I didn't go to that one. Mm-mm.
Okay, so I went to a Nas concert, and I was so hyped. Girl, I had on a long dress. I was dressed for Nas just in case. And
Easy access.
I swear, I mean, I was so hyped. You couldn't tell me nothing. And I swear, I didn't even want to do Essence. I didn't want to do. I think at the end of did see. I think I saw Janet Jackson or Prince or something that year. But I was like, I didn't come here for all of that. I came here for Nas. And
Mhm.
girl, the whole stadium was it was like semi packed. It wasn't even all that packed. I was probably the only one up dancing and knowing all the lyrics. Nobody cared. I was so disappointed. I mean, he gave good show. You know,
Yeah.
he's not necessarily a performer, but he did the symphony on stage. And you
Mhm.
know, but it was actually it wasn't a real symphony there. It was like a movie screen, and they had the symphony in the background.
Okay.
Anyway, it was dope. And I was just
Mhm.
like, I'm so Nas, I'm so ride or die. Nobody, it was probably like 15,000 people in there. Nobody cared but me.
Mhm.
But I love Nas. I want to let him know, just in case he ends up listening, that
If you listen,
I was there for you. I was there with the neon yellow dress on right in the front, just in case.
he totally remembers that. Totally remembers
I
that. I'm
think he
sure he does.
might. I think he might.
Totally does.
Um, but I was there to support. So
Mhm.
definitely, Nas. We can have a whole podcast about Nas, and I
Girl,
think we
we
should.
probably should. We probably
Hmm.
should
An
because
homage to Nas
an homage to Nas because
coming
I
soon.
absolutely love him. He's like that's a no brainer.
Coming soon.
Coming soon. So
So I think this is the part in the show. Do we have a dick minute? We should have the ticker tape.
um keen alert. Okay. I don't know because I think I kind of went off last week on my dick moment. I
Look, so
Sean,
right
you got a
now
story?
for the next couple of episodes, I'm telling you, I'm gonna have to be living vicariously through you because I have
Oh
again
Lord,
I have
that's
nothing to
fine.
report. You shit, you remember your shit is dry. It's dry over here.
Dry.
I'm swamp parched.
Let's just say my I am how am I going to say this? I'm very full right now in
I
my dick moments. Um,
mm,
they've been
mm,
it's been very pleasurable,
satisfied.
very satisfied. Um,
Better than a Snickers.
better than the motherfucking Snickers. Oh, way better than the Snickers. I didn't even imagine life could be this good.
I told you you was digmatized,
Oh my
girl.
Lord. So I'm gonna have to hold back my crazy because you know you get some good dick and
Don't be
it
hiding in the
throws your
bushes. He
whole
ain't got no
life.
bushes out front.
Say what?
He ain't got no bushes out front, huh? Don't be hiding in the bushes.
You know.
Girl, don't be calling me on the phone. Guess where I'm at? Nope, I don't want to know.
I don't want to know. I don't want to. But if you don't have any good dick in your life, but let me just tell you that I deserve this good dick run
You do.
because
You do. It's
my
been a
shit was
girl.
dry. My shit was dry for a long time. When I say long, I mean like years long.
Oh,
Like
stop it.
no, it was like 2 or 3 years. I didn't have sex. Literally, it was really yeah, it was that long.
What time are you talking about?
Most recently, most recently.
Here I go. Like, no,
Yeah,
no.
we gotta talk offline. But yeah, my shit was
Okay.
dry as hell. It was dry. It was dry, and it was by choice. It was by choice. I
Okay.
just wasn't really you know, dudes always trying to throw dick at you, but you know, I ain't want it. So, but this one I do want.
Mhm. You held out. I will say this. I'm gonna give it to you because you held out.
Mhm.
It's something you just knew. You knew there was some magic there, so you just, you was there for the long haul. Because I think we've had some conversations about
We
this.
had
Like,
a lot of
girl, I mean,
conversations, and
give it up,
I
turn
didn't
it
even
loose,
know.
please. Let
I didn't even know what I was doing, but I just had to let go and let God,
it
and
be.
that's what I did.
Woo, and that you did, girl. Just
So
that digmatization though is so serious. Like that's really serious. You don't just please
mhm.
just girl, don't be calling me up behind no bushes in the
Girl,
Uber in the Uber following him in another.
girl, this is gonna be, girl, this will be on
Pace
another level
pace
because this is
yourself.
like
Pace yourself, my
pace
sister.
myself. I have to pace myself. I got to pace myself.
Well, I look.
But it's I
Oh,
had a very
well, very good. 'Cause I didn't. I mean, like you said, you always have dick thrown. I had some thrown at me. I curved that shit. I curved it. I'm just,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna let go and let God.
So you can do because it's like I've had it's like I've had I've been in I've had sex just to be having sex, and
Hmm. Who
most
does that?
times
Me.
everybody has done it. Everybody has done it. After a while, I was like, yeah, nah. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like, no.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know.
That's where I am. That's just what you said. Like that's where I am right now, because I think any dick thrown at me right now would just, just doing it just to be doing it. It's really like
Yeah.
for nothing else. And I'm like, I'm kind of good, but catch me tomorrow and I'll be like, where the hoes
Right.
at?
This is
Where
day by day. This is a day by day thing.
Listen, I'm a day by day bitch, my damn self. Like, I don't know. Today I might be okay. Tomorrow I'm like, man, get back on that POF or something.
Right. Get back on. Let's see. Let's see what's going on over
Oh
here.
no, like let me go through let me see. Let me find out.
All right, let's go through
What's
this phone.
popping?
Let's go through my text
What's
message.
good? Send out a
Hey,
text. What's good?
hey, big head. Send out a big head text.
Like we don't know. It changed day by day. But
It sure
so far
does.
so good. I'm like I said, I love listening to you. I know we talk offline, but I'm living
Mhm.
vicariously through you now. And I was just
Okay.
so happy, girl. I was so happy to hear how things just worked out so well. Won't he do it? Won't he do it? Mm,
Won't do it.
mm.
So, girl,
That's
all right. Okay.
okay. Okay. All right. So we've had it. So I think. Do we have anything else to talk about before we wrap this up?
I think I'm all talked out. I don't think I have anything else to really chat
Okay.
about.
Yeah, I think we can end here on a good note.
Yeah.
So we gotta do our stuff that we need to do. So okay, so you can visit us at that's what I'm saying podcast.com to learn more. You can send us questions and comments. You can also like us on Facebook and Instagram. I promise y'all we're gonna get that together. Or you can email us at that's what I'm saying podcast at gmail.com to suggest topics, etc., etc. We also have a Twitter. It's that's what I say 3. Like I said, I promise we're gonna get it together.
Yeah, we're gonna get this together. You have to give us time because we're old. So
Older and look,
we're
I'm
older.
tired of calling you and asking you how to send shit, how to do shit. I don't know.
This tech
I'm
world,
learning.
I'm trying to keep up with y'all, but this shit moves very fast. So
And
we gonna
let me find another YouTube video that I'm gonna get mad at. Like I don't understand what you're saying.
right. So, but we're gonna get it together. But also want to give a shout out. Always want to give a shout out to our
Yes.
producer, Vegas. You can hit him up on Twitter. He is amazing. He's really been helping us with this, and he's a great
Yay!
producer. So, whoop whoop! Shout out to Vegas. Anything else?
Nope. Catch us next week.
All right, catch you next week, y'all.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Drop it on the random.